Hey guys, it's Carl the Fly Agent, and you have just put in an offer on a house. Congratulations, buyers. I want to go over how the next 30 days are going to look for you. Now, all these time frames, they're not specific, they're general. If there's anything different, I will specify that to you for those particular time frames. So we submitted an offer. Typically, a seller has 24 to 48 hours to respond to that offer. If it's a corporation like OfferPad or Open Door, they might take longer just because they have business hours. But if it's just a personal seller, they're typically going to respond within 24 hours, and they can either accept your offer, deny your offer, or counter in most cases, and that'll open up negotiations. Each counter offer, typically you'll have about 24 hours to respond as well. So if they counter us, we have about 24 hours to respond to them. Now we've agreed on a price and the terms, we have an accepted contract. What's next? During the first 24 hours, if it is business hours, meaning Monday through Friday, we have to deposit our earnest money into the title company. I personally recommend to my buyers that you write a personal check that can be picked up from your house or your working place, but you do have the option to either wire the money or to use an electronic link to make a payment directly to the title. That's to be done in the first 24 hours. I recommend doing a personal check because a lot of wire fraud, a lot of fraud is happening in real estate. So there's a lot of bad actors that intercept those emails. So that's why I like to do the personal check with a personal courier that takes it directly to the title company. After that, we are going to focus on the inspection. You will generally have the first 10 days of the transaction to perform your inspection with a state licensed inspector. They're going to look at the electrical, the plumbing, the roof, the foundation, the HVAC system, all the systems of the house to make sure they're in working condition. If there's something that we find that's terrible or that's not up to standards, this is our time to make those requests for the seller to repair them. This is all market dependent, of course. Sometimes you'll have to waive the inspections if it's a super hot market, but if it's kind of a lull and it's a buyer's market, you might be able to get a lot of these items fixed prior to closing, so you're walking into a good as new home. After the inspection period is going to be an appraisal if you're using a lender. So if you have a loan that requires an appraisal, if you're not putting a significant amount of money down, typically there will be an appraisal to make sure that you're not overpaying for the home. Now, when we initially make our offer, I'm going to run some comparables, so we'll have a pretty good general idea of what your home should be valued at. An appraiser, they do a little bit more scientific approach and they get really nitty gritty with the details, but they just want to make sure that you're not overpaying for your property. If for any reason the appraisal comes in lower than what you offered, that opens up the door again for renegotiation. You can ask the seller to bring it down, or you can ask the seller that you're going to meet in the middle with cash out of pocket. It all depends. Again, this is all market dependent, and I will walk you through that. Finally is the final walkthrough. This is going to occur about 2 to 3 days prior to closing. This is where we walk through the house. We make sure everything's in pretty much the same order that we found it when we made that initial offer. In addition to that, if the seller agreed to make any repairs, we confirm those invoices, we confirm those repairs when we're there at the property prior to closing. Again, this happens about 2 to 3 days prior to closing. We could even do it the day before or the morning of closing, but you are required to sign off that final walkthrough form in order for the title company to release the file for recording. And then you have your loan docs. If you are doing a loan, you're going to be signing those loan docs. That's typically the day before or the morning of closing. Once those are done, the lender will wire the funds to title. So the funds are sitting there and the file is ready to be released to record. Title will release the file to record. If that release has happened, the county is required to close on all those files that same day. So you will get the keys that same day, as long as the file has been released to record with the county. Then congratulations, we get to deliver you the keys and you get to enjoy your new house. And if you have any questions on any of this, any of the timelines, or anything that I explained, please let me know. I'll be happy to go over it with you in more detail. It's the Fly Agent. We'll talk to you soon.